Welcome, dear students. Today we'll be talking about estrogens, or the female sex hormones present in your human body. So estrogens are the primary female sex hormones that are present, and they are also important for two factors. One is for the development of female reproductive system. Second is for the development of secondary sexual characteristics in females. So there are three major forms of these hormones, that is estrogen, estradiol and estriol. Together they are called as the estrogens. So the estrogens circulate at very low levels than androgens in both men and women. So they are increased in circulation only when it is required. So this is the process of the system where the hypothalamus releases GnRH. GnRH activates pituitary. Pituitary releases FSH-LH. FSH acts on the growing follicle, causing the release of estrogen. LH acts again on the growing follicle inside the ovary, leading to ovulation. And LH also acts on the corpus luteum and causes the release of progesterone and some estrogens. So the estrogen that is released from the ovary will increase at mid-cycle, and as a result it stimulates release of more LH, whereas the progesterone that is released increases after the ovulation, and it produces a feedback inhibition of both FSH and LH secretion by pituitary, as well as GnRH secretion by the hypothalamus. So it's a similar system in both the cases, like for androgens and estrogens, where the hypothalamus GnRH activates pituitary, which releases LH-FSH, which activates testes and ovaries. The ovaries in effect produces, that is estrogen and progesterone, in effect produces an feedback inhibition of pituitary and hypothalamus, whereas the testosterone also produces a feedback inhibition of pituitary and hypothalamus. So this is the process of synthesis. We've already seen that. We've seen till formation of testosterone. Androstenedione can be converted by the aromatase enzyme to form estrone, and androstenedione or the testosterone can also be converted by aromatase into 17-beta estradiol. So estrone and 17-beta estradiol, estrone can be converted to estriol. So what is the mechanism of action of estrogens? So there are two types of mechanism of action. One is the classical mode of action. In the classical mode of action, you have estrogenic ligands, which binds activates intracellular receptors or estrogen receptors, and these estrogen receptors, as is commonly seen, it will dimerize in the nucleus and binds to the estrogen response element. As a result, there is a promotion of several target genes, and their transcription is regulated. It can either be down regulated or up regulated, depending on the requirement of the enzyme or the protein. The second system is a indirect regulation of gene expression. This is through the help of ligand bound estrogen receptors and their interaction with transcription factors. So you can see that in the first case you have estrogen receptors inside the cell, and in the second case you can see that there are membrane bound estrogen receptors, and the membrane bound estrogen receptor activates a protein kinase cascade system, which phosphorylates several transcription factors, and the transcription factors which then trigger transcription of several genes. A, you have direct genomic effects. So B is called indirect genomic effects, where the same estrogen receptor acts on transcription factors, activates the transcription factor, and which ultimately leads to a regulation of transcription. Third is transcription factor activation triggered by membrane estrogen receptors. So these are the membrane bound estrogen receptors. D is rapid non-genomic effects which are triggered by membrane estrogen receptors. So this is the estrogen receptor. It's cell membrane bound, and it's a G protein coupled receptor. You have the adenine cyclase which is activated, producing cyclic AMP, which activates protein kinase A, which causes phosphorylation of several transcription factors. At the same time, PLC is activated. PLC converts phosphatidyl inositol diphosphate into inositol triphosphate and diacylglycerol. Diacylglycerol activates protein kinase C, that is PKC, and PKC and IP3 both increase the intracellular calcium concentrations, which again causes phosphorylation of several enzymes as well as proteins. So that was D. E is another mechanism of action, which is a ligand independent effects of estrogen receptors. So in this case, you have consider the growth factor hormone or the growth hormone, and the growth hormone activates a growth hormone receptor, which induces a protein kinase cascade, causing phosphorylation of several proteins, and as a result the receptor also gets phosphorylated, and you have ligand independent effect of estrogen receptors. So regarding regulation, we've already seen throughout the whole process that in the process of regulation there is feedback inhibition by the estrogen and the progesterone that is being synthesized by the ovary, and also by the testosterone and the androstenedione or the dihydrotestosterone that is produced by the testis. So it produces a feedback inhibition of the pituitary as well as the hypothalamus.